Good afternoon and good evening for all those who are reaching out with us later on once this is edited. A lot of thank yous. First of all, Mr. Ryan from the Symphonic Band here at the high school. This is the Symphonic Band. 90 young musicians working hard to make great music for you guys. Wish you were here in person. Thank you, Wind Ensemble, for being a wonderful audience. It's always better to play for somebody to make this come alive. That was the Alamo March by none other than Carl King. Our next piece is Ballad Air by Frank Erickson. These are some wonderful pieces of music that have been sitting in the music library for far too long. Before we go on, thank you, Mr. Sharon Dungy. Thank you, Board of Education. Thank you, Mr. Mike Romano, Mr. Darren Earhart, and his AV crew, making this all happen today. It's been quite a rough 2 years, 2.5 years, and certainly still some more to go, but music is alive and well with these young musicians. It's been a pleasure working with them, getting them out of their tiny bedrooms, playing along with the computer. They can tell you how hard it's been to get back into shape, but they are ready, and looking forward to performing for you guys again real soon in person so we can share in the applause of our hard work and efforts. As I said, our next piece is Ballad Air by Frank Erickson. Please enjoy. So when I found out we were going to be back in person, having full rehearsals, with masks and all sorts of crazy distances, and 90 people in a room, and scared, and not knowing how it's going to work, the band director to me said, how am I going to get these kids, to take Mr. Muller's words, who've been sitting on their bed for a year and a half, and get them to play like 90 musicians in an ensemble together. Well, you got to start from the beginning. Yeah, they were practicing the smart music, engaging with learning online, and they know how to count anything. They know every musical term. They listen to symphonies. They've been exposed, but to play together as an ensemble is something you have to be together and do. Now, this piece that you just heard, Ballad Air, is a grade 2. Grade 2 meaning that it's more suitable for maybe 7, 8, 9, but it's not so much what the grade level it's suited for. It's the playing ability at that point. And this piece was very special to me because I can remember being a 10th grader growing up in Mattituck High School where there were 40 members in my band. I was the only trombone player, didn't have a tuba. Gary Lutz played it on a keyboard. And this piece made me fall in love with playing music. And it was written in 1951. So, not everything old is bad. Not everything new is good. And we're finding that out with new and improved smart music, the program that your children have been using, that not all of it is good. And honestly, if Terminator, the movie, taught us anything, that the machines want to defeat us, they do. And human beings need to have the emotional fortitude to listen to each one of those recordings and go against what the machines say. So I know a lot of our students have been frustrated, to say the least, but that program allows us to listen to your son or daughter or whoever it may be. They're playing for us and we're able to hear it and store it. So that's one aspect of technology that's great, but you can't beat an ensemble. So that was lovely. So that was a grade 2. Our next piece is written by Robert W. Smith, and the NISMA manual is a grade 4, which is basically the level that, before the pandemic, that's what symphonic band has been doing. So in less than 2 or 3 months' time, nothing's perfect, but we made great leaps and bounds musically, and we're getting back to the strength and the quality of work that we know and expect here at the high school level, and I think that you should be very, very proud. So if you're watching with your son or daughter right now, they did a great job. They're really doing good stuff, and I'm really hopeful that you guys are enjoying their hard work as much as I am. Our final piece today is Where the Black Hawk Soars by Robert W. Smith. Hope you enjoy it.
Good evening and welcome to the wind ensemble portion of Winter Concert 2022. How about another big round of applause for Symphonic? Mr. Ryan's work at all, because there are a lot of musicians that were in that first group tonight that the last time they did a school concert, they were newbies in junior high school, 7th grade. And now here they are in the high school, and Mr. Ryan was talking about it before, I couldn't agree more. Playing into a computer, sitting on your bed cross-legged is absolutely not the same thing as putting on concert fantasy clubs and, performing as a group together and making the music and, expressing the emotion that the music represents. So thank you very much, parents that are tuned in with us tonight, and thank you for Symphonic Band for being an excellent audience. That first piece was an old famous march by John Philip Sousa. It was written in 1899. Still getting played because it's still a good piece of music. And our next piece is going to be The Lion of Lucerne by Jim Kernat. Addie's going to come up here and she's going to tell you a little bit more about it. As she's coming up here, I just wanted to concur with Mr. Ryan on many, many thanks to Mrs. Dungy, our superintendent of schools, Mr. Wagner, president of the Board of Education, Mr. Lynham, high school principal, Mr. Voigt, director, administrator, for music, Mr. Romano, the Central Islip Teachers Association president, and Mr. Earhart, light and sound man extraordinaire, for helping us to make all this happen. It's been a very slow road back to normal, unfortunately. A huge excitement at the end of last school year. Yeah, we're back to normal, and then it's like the next thing hits, and we're set back a little bit more, but we're pressing on. Like Ms. Dungy says all the time, see how tough New York strong. We'll get there. You home audience right now, you'll be back sitting here watching it. And, if nothing else, this was definitely a unique and interesting thing that the people performing this concert will probably be sitting next to you tonight as you watch it. So that, I've never had that in my playing experience before. So something new and different. Did Maddie make it up? Here's Maddie. All right. So Maddie's going to tell you something about the next piece we're playing.
Soldiers, Swiss Guards of Switzerland, were picked to guard the Pope. In 1616, another group of Swiss Guards was organized to protect King Louis XIII of France. On August 10, 1792, during the French Revolution, most of the Swiss Guards were killed while defending the royal palace in Paris from attack by an angry mob. The memory of these Swiss Guards was preserved in the famous sculpture Lion of Lucerne, which was carved in the face of a rock in Lucerne, Switzerland, by Danish sculptor Bertel Thorvaldsen. It bears the inscription, "To the fidelity and courage of the Helvetians." The composer had the opportunity of seeing the sculpture in the summer of 1985. He was so taken with this magnificent sculpture that he decided to write an overture to attempt to capture the spirit of the sculpture and the story behind its creation. There are 3 themes used throughout the story. 1, majesty, the sculpture, representing the sculpture. 2, the spirit of the Swiss Guards. And 3, Unserleben, meaning life's journey. Fragments from all themes are used through the piece in modulation, transition, and development sections. Please enjoy Lion of Lucerne by Jim Kernat.
People at home, did you make popcorn? That would be fun. All right, our last piece this evening is a piece by Frank Kelly, and it is entitled Abracadabra. Ooh, mysterious. And here comes Came On Band to tell you more. So thank you very much for watching our program tonight. Symphonic Band, thank you very much for being such a wonderful audience. And this is our final piece. And I usually say please arrive home safely, but if you're watching, you're already home. So please be safe in your house.
Abracadabra was composed in the summer of 2004 and was orchestrated the following November during a residency at the MacDowell Colony. The MacDowell Colony is an artist residency program in Peterborough, New Hampshire, founded in 1907 by composer Edward MacDowell and his wife, pianist and philanthropist Marion MacDowell. The piece is dedicated to the composer's son and is at once playful and serious, innocent and mischievous. A sense of mysterious pervades as the dark key of G minor is balanced by sudden shifts to bright and sunny major keys. Throughout the composition, he was thinking about magic, not in an evil or frightening sense, but as a source of fun and fantasy. His wonderfully playful, sometimes mischievous young son was always in the back of his mind, as were images of Halloween with his costumes and jack-o'-lanterns. As the piece nears its conclusion, the music rushes towards what seems to be an explosive finish, but the woodwinds interrupt, fanning out to a questioning whole tone cluster. They are answered by a puff of sound, a final disappearing act. Now here is Abracadabra by Frank Kelly.
Central Master with that song.